The Marvel Cinematic Universe, or the MCU as it's better known. I think to say it's had a ropey couple of years is probably putting it nicely. And although there's been some fantastic content over the years, there's also been some slightly stinky ones, especially since Endgame. Now, we all know what that is, so I'm not going to go into it today. I never share my opinions on things properly on this channel. But following D23 Brazil, because yes, there's now a Brazilian one, Kevin Feige, alongside the rest of the Marvel company, have announced a load of new trailers. Of course, they released new looks at some of the future films and TV shows of the MCU. They've also addressed a few things, which we're going to talk about today. But here are the upcoming MCU/Marvel, if you count the animated stuff, content I'm most excited for, ranked. Hi, my name is Luis. I'm a filmmaker specialising in animation. Here on the channel, we discuss all things Disney, parks, animation, just films in general, because I am a massive nerd. So please hit that like and subscribe button. We release videos every Sunday, and we are currently on a goal of 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. There's really not too far to go. So please hit that like and subscribe button. It's free, and you can unsubscribe at any time. So taking last place today is the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Now, this is going to be great. I'm sure it will be cool. And to be honest, it's kind of sad being in animation. I'm an animation producer. That sort of thing doesn't excite me as much as some of the live action stuff, but I just think because there's so much Spider-Man content out there, I just prefer watching live action Spider-Man every now and then. This could come out and completely prove me wrong, but today it's not a what looks good. That's not the case. It's what I'm most hyped for. And mainly because I've not really seen much of the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man yet, I'm just not hyped for it at this current stage in time. Now, in 13th place today, we do have Eyes of Wakanda. Similar to the Spider-Man show, it's just not something that I was necessarily wanting. I mean, of course, I love the development of both Spider-Man and Black Panther, but it's not something that I was yearning for, and for the exact same reasons. It looks good. I'm slightly more hyped about it than Spider-Man. Number 12 today, we then have What If Season 3. I like What If. I just think it's a little bit overdone, and I think they definitely could change it up a little bit. I'd really like to see them really branch out. However, I think this is the last season that is just about to come out. So, yeah. Again, not super hyped about it. What If Season 2 was like, okay. What If Season 1 was really, really good. With some really good standout episodes, which we'll discuss a little bit later on. However, yeah, same sort of reasons. What If Season 2 kind of maybe switch off from it, but maybe they'll really come back with a few heavy hitters. Number 11 then, we have Wonderman. The only reason Wonderman is this far down in the list is predominantly because we've not really seen much of it. I'm not really familiar with the character at this stage in time. So really, once I've done my research, once I have a look at the actual character itself, then I think I can make a better judged decision. And of course, once we see trailers and things like that properly, then yeah, maybe. But we've only really seen like brief looks at it. So it does look good from what I've seen so far. But compared to what else is on this list and what I personally have been waiting for, Wonderman is slightly lower down for me. That then brings me on to number 10 today, Hart. Of course, a TV show that we have been longly rumoured to be cancelled, continued, stuck on a pedestal of consistent craziness when it comes to, of course, the bonkers world that is the film industry. Now, I knew Hart was being done. I've always known that it's being done from working in the industry, so I wasn't stressing at the fact it wasn't going to come out because I knew that it was going to. But now we've seen a look at it. I'm excited for it. Again, I will stress that everything on this list I am excited for. It's just the order in which I'm excited for it. So yeah, Hart, it does look good. The only reason I'm not excited for it is mainly because I knew that it was coming. I knew it was going to happen. And not that I know the story or anything like that. I mean, obviously, I know that Anthony Ramos is coming to play the Hood. And of course, Dominic Thorne coming back to play Ironheart from Wakanda Forever. And some pretty cool stuff we've seen so far from trailers. It does look really, really good. So the more we see of this, the more hyped I'll get. I'm especially excited to see Anthony Ramos' character growth as well. Number 9 is the Untitled Vision series. It was originally called Vision Quest, but of course we were introduced to White Vision at the end of WandaVision. And everyone's been screaming, what the bloody hell has happened to White Vision? And are we going to be seeing normal Vision come back in any way, shape or form? Of course, the whole sort of WandaVision, that sort of vibe is very up in the air at the moment in time, so we'll see what happens with that. Of course, we've just had the release of Agatha, of course, so that went down really, really well. Still yet to finish it at this current stage in time. I've been very busy, but hopefully that's going to be good. And an expansion on Vision, crossing fingers, hopefully it'll be good. Alongside that, this is not part of the list, but Armor Wars, again, I don't really know what's going on with that. Will that be a Vision style thing that was rumoured, or will that be Don Cheadle, of course, playing War Machine? We saw him last in Secret Invasion. Number 8, a brand new trailer's just dropped as well, Captain America Brave New World. Now, I'm excited for a few things in this film. Of course, we're going to see Thaddeus Ross returning, now obviously recast to Harrison Ford after the actor sadly passed away a couple years ago. Of course, we will then see the introduction of the Celestials properly in the MCU, because, you know, they haven't really been spoken about at this point in time, so I'm excited to finally see that, and we did see that in the most recent footage. And of course, I'm excited to see Anthony Mackie return as, well, Captain America. Next up today, we've then got the Marvel Zombies. So as I said with What If, I did enjoy parts of the What If season. Marvel Zombies was exactly that. And we're getting a whole new season dedicated to Marvel Zombies, which I really like. That was a great concept. We're going to see new characters introduced, and to me, I generally think Marvel Zombies is definitely one of the standouts amongst the What If seasons. So hopefully they'll do that very well. And of course, the animation style is sick. Number 6, we then got Avengers Doomsday. Now, I know this is slightly criminal putting a new Avengers film this far down in the list, but RDJ coming back as Doom, really? I don't know. I'm really not sure on how they're going to take this. Of course, it was originally the Kang Dynasty. They had it all set up, and with the controversy of Jonathan Majors, it kind of dropped off a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, for me, Doomsday, as much as it's going to be great, and of course it's an Avengers film at the end of the day, it's going to be sick. In the same breath, I definitely think that it could have been done slightly differently. And I definitely think that it's going to be a gamble, I think is the best way of putting it. But as long as it leads up to Secret Wars, and of course with Doom being a massive part of the Fantastic Four, how is that going to work? How are we going to see it? And how is RDJ and Robert Downey Jr., of course, playing Iron Man, how is he going to transition from that very famous role he's known for to a very famous villain? Hopefully it's done correctly, and of course that storyline kind of does pan out in some of the comics, but I'm not sure it was a storyline they necessarily should have followed. Number 5 is then, of course, the Thunderbolts. Now, many people have looked at this trailer and gone, I'm not really sure. Personally, I really am looking forward to this. I saw the original announcement for the Thunderbolts at D23 in 2022.
To announce, also joining the Thunderbolts, Sebastian Stan.
So I saw the entire cast, bar Florence Pugh, which was gutting, walking out onto the stage, which was so cool. And obviously since then I've seen the development, and since working for companies and things like that, I've seen the behind the scenes of it all and how it's been made, and it looks friggin' awesome. I won't say much more on it for that reason, but it looks funny, it looks full of action, it's got a fantastic cast, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, which I think is a good thing for Marvel, because some of the projects take themselves way too seriously and some of them don't take themselves seriously enough. So really, I think Thunderbolts is going to be that mix of everything, and it's going to really progress the MCU in a correct way, the way they should have been doing so for the last couple years. The predominant reason I'm excited for this is just to see Bucky and Yelena share the screen, because that's going to be fun. Number 4 today is then, of course, Spider-Man 4. Now, again, many people have kind of given up with the Spider-Man franchise at this point in time, but I really think, firstly, we're going to see the return of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in Secret Wars, so that would be sick. Of course, I want to see how the world reacts to the events of Spider-Man No Way Home, because no one knows who he is anymore. I want to see how Peter's growth's going to be, and that new suit that we got a glimpse of, yes please. Bearing in mind that apparently we are looking more towards a street crime level film rather than a big Avengers level threat or something like that, I definitely think would be a very fun take. So we'll see who he goes up against. Obviously, there was the rumours of the Sinister Six, and we kind of got somewhat that in No Way Home, but I definitely think that could be improved. We actually did do a video on things that really need answering in the MCU, and that included the Sinister Six in the MCU with the Vulture, the Scorpion, things like that. So check that video out if you haven't already. It's been doing really well. But yeah, Spider-Man 4 for me, I really like the Spider-Man films. He, I think, is my favourite superhero, and I really like the way the Spider-Man films are done. I think they're all enjoyable to watch at any time. So justice for Andrew Garfield, please. Thank you very much. But with Kevin Feige announcing that Miles Morales will be coming to the MCU, he said that he won't appear in Spider-Man 4. Well, we think. Of course, he will be then appearing in the sequel to Across the Spider-Verse, to Beyond the Spider-Verse, I think it's called. However, Miles Morales has been officially mentioned by Kevin Feige, which means he is on the cards. And of course, we can't have Secret Wars without Miles Morales. So I'm really excited to see, even if it's just a mention, a post-credit scene, whatever it may be, on what Spider-Man is really going to introduce. Not to mention, we've got the Venom symbiote in the MCU at this point in time, so we really need to tie that up. We've got Daredevil coming into it as well as other sort of street-level crime, which hopefully Spider-Man is going to start really interacting with. Are we going to see a growth of Hobgoblin, of course Ned's character in the comics, and of course we've got MJ, what the bloody hell is going to go on with Zendaya. Of course, she has been officially cast in the new Spider-Man film, and Tom and her have been reading the script over the last couple of weeks. So yeah, number 4 for me, sorry, Spider-Man 4. Number 3, of course, the Fantastic Four. So lots of fours at the moment. But the Fantastic Four definitely is one people have turned their noses up at, but for the same sort of reasons as some of the later ones, like the Thunderbolts, for example. Seeing the behind the scenes of these working in the industry, this film looks sick. It looks really, really good. Not to mention the casting is really well done. I'm slightly gutted that John Krasinski didn't get Reed Richards, but then again, Pedro Pascal is Pedro Pascal. Of course, Vanessa Kirby is going to be coming in. You've got Joseph Quinn, who I think is a perfect casting, despite what people say for the Human Torch. And then, of course, we've got Abram Mosbarak as the Thing, which from facial testing and things like that, he's looking really, really cool. So if they do this film correctly, and I like the eras that they're setting it in, this film could really, really pack a punch in the box office. So crossing fingers that Fantastic Four is going to be as good as we hope it's going to be. Number 2 today, of course, we've got Secret Wars. It is a huge, huge Avengers mashup, which I cannot wait for. Of course, it has been rumoured throughout the last couple MCU films. It's been slightly poked here and there. I really want to know who's going to be in it. And as I say, Secret Wars can't really happen without Miles Morales, and Miles Morales is probably one of my favourite superheroes of all time, so hopefully they'll do an introduction of that. Of course, we're going to see some big names, big heavy hitters coming back for that as well, so I'm really excited to see how that pans out. There's not really much I can say at this point because we've not really had much information on it, but of course the brothers are returning to direct them, the Russo brothers back again to direct 2 of probably the biggest features of this decade, Secret Wars and Doomsday. So again, we've already discussed Doomsday, but Secret Wars I generally think could be the biggest Avengers film of all time if they do it correctly. If not, we'll see what happens. But the issue is they've got so much content and so many loose ends that they need to tie up that they don't have a lot of time to do it. Then, taking our number 1 spot today is Daredevil. Now, of course, one of our favourite superheroes, Charlie Cox, Matt Murdock, coming back alongside John Bernthal as well. So it's going to be really, really good to see them coming back. Of course, you've got Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, last seen in Echo, and of course in the Hawkeye TV show as well. So we're really introducing some big bads into the MCU. And again, putting on this sort of street-level crime that hopefully we'll see Spider-Man interact with in some way, shape or form. Of course, we did already see Tom Holland's Spider-Man interact with Matt Murdock in No Way Home, which I think is sick already. So if they can continue that sort of friendship between them, I'd really like to see a partnership between Daredevil and Spider-Man. But this new Daredevil show looks brutal. It looks awesome. It looks funny. It looks very dark, which is something the MCU needs. And I generally think this is going to be absolutely fantastic. And we all know that it is the best Netflix Marvel show by a long shot. It's fantastic. So hopefully, if they do it correctly and they stick to their guns the way that we think they're going to, Daredevil for me is going to be my top choice to be watching over the next year or so. It's going to look really, really good. Plus, who doesn't love Charlie Cox? Matt Murdock and Daredevil as a general character is absolutely fantastic. But yeah, that's the end of the video. If you guys did like this sort of video, please let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to do a little bit more of this sort of stuff. And let me know, what are you guys most excited for in the MCU and the upcoming Marvel slate over the next couple years? Of course, this is due to change with more conventions and things like that coming in the future. And hopefully with D23 again in 2 years' time, we'll really have some heavy hitters coming out and giving us a sort of closer glimpse to a few of those shows. But obviously since then and up until then, you will have the release of Daredevil, the Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, maybe Spider-Man, but I don't think so yet. Of course, Captain America, Ironheart, Marvel Zombies, What If Season 3 coming up most recently, Eyes of Wakanda, and Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So a lot of this content is going to be wiped from that, and new stuff is going to be added to the slate. And again, if you haven't watched my video already, go and check out some of the plot holes and things we need answered in the MCU to progress into Secret Wars. Because some of these guys, Shang-Chi 2, Moon Knight Season 2, we need an answer, guys. Especially if they're going to appear in those films, mainly for Shang-Chi's purposes. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Please like, subscribe, get us to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2024, and I will see you in next week's video. Peace.